A typical bag of groceries today costs 50% more than in 2020. Here's how that breaks down.
Shrinkflation is when companies make their products smaller but keep it at the same price, and it exposes just how hard customers are getting robbed.
It's called dynamic, algorithmic, or surveillance pricing, a growing trend among global retailers designed to increase profits.
If you keep asking yourself why it feels like your grocery prices are increasing week over week, you are definitely not alone. We are seeing a huge surge in grocery prices, and it's due to a lot of different factors that we're going to explore in today's video. But we're seeing dynamic pricing, tariffs, the increase in gas prices due to the conflict in Iran, as some of the many reasons why our bills just keep going up. It's not just you, you're not crazy. Grocery prices have increased an insane amount in just the last few years.
Out of the U.S. economy and your dollar tonight, inflation jumped to 3.8% in April, the highest level in 3 years. And some prices are rising more than others. Fruit and vegetable prices, for example, have climbed more than 6% in the past year. Tonight in our series, Affordability in America, the big buyers, wholesalers, and restaurant owners talk to our Jason Allen about how they're trying to absorb the cost, not pass them on, but they can't do it forever.
Grapes from Chile, tomatoes from Mexico, watermelons from South Texas.
That is so sweet.
Nando Gonzalez has trucks arriving to his cold storage warehouses daily at River City Produce in San Antonio.
From Washington, from California, Arizona, Texas, of course.
Produce prices are sensitive to whichever way the wind blows or where the rain falls.
The component that a lot of people don't realize is that all of these were affected by fuel.
Since February, the price of diesel is up 47%.
How is it different between the normal ups and downs that you have and this sudden and somewhat sustained extra cost that you have with fuel?
You hold your breath a little bit and you keep thinking it's going to go down until you can only get to a point where you can't absorb it anymore.
When the wholesaler can't absorb it, restaurant owner Luis Barrios has to figure out if he can.
Well, our CPA advisor, he's the one that keeps telling us, if you guys want to be around much longer, you have to raise your prices.
Los Barrios can't exactly go without jalapenos, limes, and tomatoes, which were up nearly 40% in April over last year. So the nearly 50-year-old institution recently had to raise prices.
Most consumers understand because they go to the grocery store as well.
Back at River City, Gonzalez told us he expects more restaurants and markets to decide that after eating the increased cost of produce for months, they can't stomach it any longer.
$1.99 per apple, not per pound, a single apple. Yep, that comment is so true. I feel like every time I go to the grocery store, I get sticker shock because I realize that the price is not per pound, it's per item. It's no longer 99 cents a pound for zucchini, it's 99 cents per zucchini or $1.50 per apple. I went to Subway and a foot-long sandwich with chips and 2 cookies was $20. And I don't know, I'm skeptical of that 3.8% inflation number. I feel like they're always cooking the books and telling us that it's better than it really is. And how could it really be 4% inflation when we're seeing a 50% increase in prices? Something's not adding up.
So families are struggling to put food on the table. The Federal Reserve Bank of New York is issuing a new warning now about the rise in food insecurity as Americans try to make ends meet. That report saying between the late 2025 and early 2026, there was a sharp rise in households reporting that they had to skip meals, use food banks, and rely on SNAP benefits or even dip into their savings account if they had any, just to try and cover grocery costs that are nearly 3% higher than a year ago. And 10% of households surveyed said that they didn't have enough food to feed their kids, and their kids had to miss meals. That's more than double the numbers from mid-2020.
This comment right here rings true. Let's be real, the prices basically doubled, and that's exactly what I said after the last clip. I went into credit card debt purchasing groceries, and I just want to remind everyone to please use your resources around you, utilize your local food banks. They are there for a reason. They're there to help you in times of need, and please don't be ashamed to take advantage of these things if you're having a rough time. Everything went up during COVID and never came back down. That is so true. I feel like prices tend to stay up, whether it's a shortage or gas prices or tariffs. Once these prices rise, they kind of are sticky and they stay at that price, and corporations see that we will continue paying these prices, especially for necessities like food, and they see that they can increase their profits by keeping the price high, even if inflation or the shortage has ended. And restaurants, when food prices increase, they directly feel that strain, and then they incur even more costs just simply changing their prices. For example, they have to print new menus, they have to update their signage, they have to reconfigure their computer systems with the new prices. So a lot of times, maybe if the price of food goes down, the restaurant has already increased their prices, they're not going to be in a huge hurry to lower their prices because they already spent money, time, and labor changing prices to be higher. Okay, quick pause because I wanted to share the sponsor of today's video, Factor. Life has been busy lately, and I feel like I always go to the grocery store with good intentions and I do my best to save money and get the deals, but then the produce ends up rotting in my fridge because I get so busy and I don't have time to cook. That's why I've been trying Factor. They deliver chef-crafted, dietitian-approved, ready-to-eat meals straight to your door, which is nice when you want real food, but you also want a little bit more convenience. And really quick, since we've seen HelloFresh on the channel before, Factor is now owned by HelloFresh, and honestly, it's nice having both options because sometimes I'm in the mood to cook, and sometimes I just want something quick and easy. What I like is there's no planning, prep, or cleanup, and the meals are made with real ingredients and balanced macros. Also, every meal comes with at least 2 vegetables, so helpful to get your veggies in. Today, I'm making the 3-bean vegan chili with the miso edamame salad, and both of them were so good. Head to factor75.com or click the link below and use code MarissaVanFB50 to get 50% off your first Factor box plus free breakfast for 1 year. That's code MarissaVanFB50 at factor75.com to get 50% off your first box plus free breakfast for 1 year. Offer is only valid for new Factor customers with code and qualifying auto-renewing subscription purchase.
A typical bag of groceries today costs 50% more than in 2020. Here's how that breaks down. Forbes estimates that a basket full of groceries, including items such as eggs, butter, and bread, was about $46.95 in 2020. However, now we estimate it to cost $73.07. Some of the items that inflated the most was a large bottle of orange juice, which used to average about $6.78, but now can be found at more than $14. A tub of coffee grounds used to be $7.75, but is now over $16. Items like eggs and ground beef have gone up more than 45%, and groceries like chicken and bread have hovered between 24 and 26% increases.
Everything used to weigh more too, and that is a perfect transition into the next clip.
All right, back at Walmart again. This is my 4th trip to Walmart. I'm at one of the same ones I was at before. I'm gonna keep it in real time and we're gonna look. Look, I'll tell you right now, that's not 4.94 pounds. See how easy it is? So this is the second time with Kentucky Legend. This is the same Walmart that I found the other Kentucky Legend in for $25. That's how, look at this one. There's another one. There's another one. There's 2. Because I mean, it's that easy. I know that doesn't weigh that. I found two in 20 seconds. Do you think that one weighs 5.4? So that's 3 in 30 seconds. Let's take it to the produce scale and weigh it. Let's see what they weigh. This is crazy. This is insane. All right. First, let's see if the scale's correct. There's a 2-pound weight from Sporting Goods. Scale's over by 0.02. All right, let's weigh these one by one. 1.83. It says 4.93. What's this one saying? 5.41. 2.32. 4.54. Come on now. Somebody do the math on some of these. Put it in the chat. Go ahead. Go to work. Let's get them. It's time to go see management. Let's see what they have to say about it.
So this guy has recently kind of blown up on social media. I've seen his videos pop up on my feed where he goes to Walmart, and now recently he's going to other stores as well to confirm if the package weight is actually what it says it is. And it's crazy the amount of examples he has where people are just getting blatantly overcharged and the package is saying that there is 5 pounds of meat and there's only 1 pound. And someone did the math in the comments. Labeled 4.93 pounds, actual 1.83 pounds. Overcharge, $15.44. And it just continues on, and he has 3 overcharges, and that's $46 in overcharges just from 3 products. So can you imagine, multiply this by millions of products and millions of people shopping at Walmart or these other stores, how much profit the company is getting? The Federal Department of Weights and Measures will fine Walmart $10,000 per item they find that is incorrectly marked. $10,000 per item. Anytime you find something like this, take a picture with as much info as possible, then contact your state's Weights and Measures Board, usually within the Agricultural Department, and file a complaint. They are federally required to investigate it. And we talked about the Weights and Measures Department in the past in a video about gas prices and how the pump was not calibrated correctly and was overcharging customers. So just be aware of this. This is something that is affecting all sorts of products, not just meat and dairy. We can't be trusting the weight on the package anymore. We have to measure it out for ourselves and ensure that we are not getting overcharged. Class action lawsuit, they're ripping everybody off. As a Walmart cashier, I will be paying attention to this now, and I'll be calling for my team lead if the weight is different. Now, I'm not sure if Walmart overpaid its suppliers for this product and they're the one that is getting overcharged, or if they bought it in bulk and then they are now profiting off of their customers. But either way, they should not be having improper weights on the package. And I feel like this clip goes perfectly with some of our next examples on shrinkflation, just our favorite thing in the whole world.
I just got back from Aldi, and I've been seeing the girl all over my timeline who has been measuring things like macaroni and cheese and different products in her house and showing us about shrinkflation and showing us that we are not getting necessarily what we are paying for. And one of the things that she measured was the chicken fries from Aldi, and I just bought some, a brand new unopened bag, and we're gonna open it, we're gonna count them, and we're gonna see how many we get. Now it says 7 servings per container, and it says there are about 8 servings in the bag, so that should be 56 chicken fries in this bag. Got my bowl, and I'm gonna open it and count them out. 2, 24, it is not looking good. 26. 41. 42. And the rest is just crumbs. So we got 42 in this bag, and we were supposed to get around 56. So yeah, they're shorting us big time. Like, what? So just to make sure I'm not tripping, I'm gonna count them again while I put them back in this bag, because I do need to put them back in this bag to go in the freezer. 2. And I even counted this little nub as 42. Aldi. What's up?
42 divided by 56 is 75%. They are shorting 25%. Shorting and increasing prices. It is just coming at us from all directions. It used to be shrinkflation. Now they're just straight up lying.
Shrinkflation is when companies make their products smaller but keep it at the same price, and it exposes just how hard customers are getting robbed. Because while a can of tomatoes used to have 650 milliliters, today it might have 600 milliliters. Companies have an incentive to do this because if they can make more profit and customers won't even know this, why wouldn't they? But it gets even worse because sometimes they change what's in the product, which is a different form of shrinkflation. For example, the original can used to have tomato puree as their primary ingredient, but now their primary ingredient is water. And if they can charge the same amount of money for something that has less of the more expensive thing, then why would they not do that? The only issue is when enough customers get together and get mad about it, and then there's nothing companies can do. Like, one of the most angering one for consumers is that this packet of gum is supposed to have 10 slots for gum, but they replaced one of them with a thumb grip. And as long as customers don't notice, they're able to reduce their cost of making this entire packet of gum by 10% because they don't have to include one of the 10 gums. And once you start to notice it, you'll see it everywhere, even on stuff like breath strips, where you literally are getting basically half of what you used to, even though it's the same price.
Shrinkflation.
Since when does a pizza fit on a sheet pan?
Got 3 mini cookies, right? I got 2 Snickerdoodles and a chocolate chip. Open the box. What is this?
Look at this. Look at how much candy is in this bag. You can't even see it. And it's $7.
Are you kidding me? That's the size of my hand, by the way.
No full, but then you look at this. You turn them over, and look at this. There's not even Tropicana wasn't banking on my spicy autistic brain. No, I knew immediately. I didn't even have to look at the label. 11 ounces. 12 ounces. Same price.
The audacity to still have a clear bag for some of this. These companies should be fined for the waste of packaging. It's filling the landfill. How about taxing them? That would honestly be great. It reminds me of all these modern car companies and how they're manufacturing these cars to be scrapped and thrown away in 5 years instead of keeping them running for a long time and repairing them. They just want you to get rid of the whole car and buy a brand new one, but at the same time they say that their cars are polluting less and are more fuel efficient and are meeting all these EPA regulations, when in reality they're being the most wasteful themselves. One good thing about shrinkflation, I stopped buying those snacks and processed foods. We are tired of it. We are tired of the skimflation, the shrinkflation, and the regular old inflation. So much so that when Frito-Lay raised their prices and just kept raising them, we decided to just simply stop buying, and they got the message.
A bag of Doritos used to be $3. Now it's closer to $7. The company that makes them just lost $1 billion over it, twice. Here's what's happening. According to Bloomberg, Frito-Lay got so addicted to rising prices that it couldn't stop, even as its own shelves started emptying out. Now they control nearly 60% of the US salty snack market, and for over a decade, the mandate was simple: grow revenue 5% every year forever. Then the pandemic hit, and like everyone else, their parent company PepsiCo started raising prices. Consumers barely flinched, so they kept going. By 2022, prices were up 20% year over year, but they still kept going. So Walmart started cutting their shelf space. According to insider reports, nobody wanted to be the one who blinked. They tried shrinkflation, promotions, smaller multi-packs. Nothing worked. By the time a new division head finally declared prices had to come down, they'd missed internal revenue targets by over $1 billion for the second year in a row. Now this matters because this isn't just some chip story. It's what happens when a company mistakes pricing power for consumer loyalty. Surprisingly, most people are actually on the same page here. 42% of consumers were already buying fewer snacks because of the price. In response, PepsiCo and Frito-Lay started rolling back prices. So the central debate isn't whether these cuts were needed, it's whether this is enough, leading some shoppers to put it pretty bluntly online. A 50-cent rollback on a bag that jumped nearly 50% isn't a correction, it's a press release. PepsiCo's CEO says he'll know by summer if the rollbacks are working. So here's the big question. Have you changed what you buy in the chip aisle, and would a small price drop bring you back?
The CEO of PepsiCo made $28 million in 2024. The problem isn't inflation, it's corporate greed. They could drop them to $1 and I wouldn't buy their stuff again. I'm sick of being taken advantage of. Doritos are $7 and federal minimum wage is $7.25. I quit buying Frito-Lay 2 years ago. Started buying chips from Aldi, $1.89 for bag chips there.
Want to see why Frito-Lay lost a whole ton of money? There's the Aldi price for actual Doritos. Here's the Aldi brand price. $4 different. I'm gonna go with the Aldi brand.
If Aldi can make it $1.69, so can Doritos. So some people are saying that the Aldi brand tastes better for the Doritos, and some people are saying that it's really bad. So it really just depends. I do my best to buy store brand wherever possible. I will say there are a few food items that I don't buy store brand because I feel like they just taste weird. But honestly, the silver lining of all of this is that all of these prepackaged processed foods are just garbage for our bodies. We don't need to be eating them. So if PepsiCo wants to price gouge us and just be super greedy, we're just not going to buy their food anymore. And in turn, we will be healthier and our wallets will also thank us. So the next time you feel disempowered at a grocery store and feel like you don't have a say in the prices, just simply don't buy their products. If we focus instead on buying whole foods like rice, beans, produce, pastas, and a few other items, we will be better off health-wise and financially.
Okay, I want to give a very clear-cut example of how shrinkflation is happening and how products that we are buying are getting more expensive for less product. Here's a perfect example. This is the sunscreen that I use. I've used the sunscreen for years. I love it. I was cleaning out my storage unit, right? And I came across this old bottle of sunscreen from a couple of years ago. So it is 8 fluid ounces, right? And it's on the front. It says biodegradable and cruelty free. This is a sunscreen, the exact same sunscreen that I bought, a week and a half ago. It is 6 fluid ounces. No more biodegradable and cruelty free. got it. But they have the nerve to say that it's 20% more than the 5 fluid ounces. If I'm remembering correctly, again, this is from years ago when I got it. This was probably under $10. I paid about $15 for this. So I'm getting less product, it's probably less safe, and yeah, I hate that. Also, looking, expiration dates are on the bottom. This expired 2024, right? I know that I probably had this, again, because it was my storage unit before 2024. Mind you, new bottle. I bought it this year. It expires in November 2026. So not only does it have less chemicals, the new one has apparently like more chemicals, not less. It actually expires more quickly. And then on the back, we're looking at the back label, right? This is the new one. And this is the old one. So on the old one, for example, it says no oxybenzone, octinizate, animal testing, synthetic fragrances, artificial colors, parabens, phthalates, sulfates, or petroleum, and 100% vegetarian ingredients. On the new one, the smaller one, it says no oxybenzone, oxynate, so they took that off the front, but it's on the back. No animal testing, synthetic fragrances, or artificial color. So parabens, phthalates, sulfates, and petroleum. They're no longer saying that is not in their sunscreen. Shrinkflation. We are being charged more for products that are worse. I hate it here. I hate it here.
And we can look right at the comments. Boxed brownie and cake mix aren't filling the pans anymore. No cute comments from companies. Oh, okay. Notice how whenever somebody is hyping up a company or talking positively about them on social media, the company immediately goes straight to the comments, writes something cutesy, and the creator tends to pin it and it's right on top so everyone can see that comment, right? But as soon as something negative is said about them, silence. When iPhone stopped coming with the charging box, I knew. Companies pray that you don't have old versions of their products to compare the new garbage versions to. And you just have to love the fact that they purposely use deceptive marketing. They put it in the same size bottle, even though you're getting less product. And just as she showed in the clip, the sunscreen used to be 8 ounces, is now 6 ounces, and they have the nerve to say that it is 20% more than the 5 ounces. They are purposely trying to trick us and hope that we don't notice. And going back to chips, because I feel like they're the worst offender, we have another clip here.
Does this look like a normal size bag of party size chips? What are we doing here? A rip-off.
People don't remember the party size being as big as your torso, literally a sack of chips. That's the old regular bag. It's all capitalism. And that was the top comment with 75,000 likes. $8 and half full. Since we're on the topic, the family size cereal boxes look like the regular size cereal boxes to me. I knew it was getting smaller when I almost ate the whole bag in one sitting. It was weird. I just go to Sam's now and get the huge bag, aka the original party size. Speaking of wholesale stores, I love Costco. I try to do a lot of my shopping there. Because it's a warehouse and they sell in bulk, they tend to have lower prices. And not only that, they also treat their employees well. They give them higher wages than most retail and grocery stores, and they also give part-time employees benefits, so I love to support them. And they also have the best gas prices. Some people say that the gas line is not worth it, but the line was super long the other day and I timed it and I only waited in line for about 10 minutes. And if you go during the non-peak hours, like early in the morning or a little bit later in the evening after rush hour, you don't have to wait at all. So yes, even though Costco has a membership, I feel like it pays for itself in the savings that you end up getting. So I love Costco. And speaking of frustrating topics, we have also been seeing dynamic pricing and also surveillance pricing in some grocery stores.
And this is a big move to try to crack down on dynamic pricing when companies use AI to change prices in real time based on customers' personal data. So you might pay a different price than someone buying the exact same thing at the same time. Maryland just became the first state to ban dynamic pricing at grocery stores and with food delivery services. As of October 1st, any store that uses shoppers' personal information to charge higher prices risks facing a $10,000 fine. Last year, a small case study found that Instacart charged different prices for shoppers buying the same foods at the same time. After backlash, Instacart later said it ended those pricing experiments. There have also been concerns with Walmart's shift to digital price tags in all of its stores by the end of next year. The retailer says that prices are the same no matter who is shopping. There is clearly some momentum on this. Dozens of other states have introduced legislation to try to ban dynamic pricing, including at grocery grocery stores or to force companies to disclose if they are using this strategy. Some consumer advocates actually say Maryland's law doesn't go far enough. For example, it doesn't apply to prices associated with stores' loyalty programs. While an Association of Maryland Businesses is pushing back, they say grocery stores don't engage in individual price gouging, and dynamic pricing is more common in industries like hotels, rideshare apps, and airlines.
It should be $10K per violation. Otherwise, companies will gauge the financial risk of how much they can charge, pay the fine, and still make a profit. Sometimes this country disgusts me. All states should do this. Dynamic pricing is just a nice way of saying price gouging.
It's called dynamic, algorithmic, or surveillance pricing, a growing trend among global retailers designed to increase profits, an approach that adjusts the ticket price based on who's looking.
This is about companies deciding that one person, based on their online personal data history or shopping history, is willing to pay more for eggs than another person.
Tech expert Carmi Levy explains grocers and other retailers can learn a lot about you when you use their apps, but that's not all they're peeking into.
Location information, what you're doing in your other apps, maybe what you've posted on social media, things that you've liked and engaged with.
Think of a parent up late at night with a sick baby Googling their symptoms.
Should the price of children's Advil be based on the fact that you search that? I don't think so.
All Ontario's opposition parties want the Ford government to put up guardrails. The state of Maryland's banned dynamic pricing at grocery stores.
Same algorithms that can predict what we need can also be weaponized to exploit.
Manitoba's government introduced similar legislation last month, and this week federal New Democrats urged the Prime Minister to
implement a national ban on surveillance pricing before it becomes a predatory new normal in Canadian life.
And most of that clip is discussing what's happening in Canada, but the dynamic pricing and surveillance pricing is starting to be rolled out everywhere in the world. And it's a bit of a dilemma because for me, I have a grocery store super close by to me. There are days when I don't have my car, so I end up walking or biking to that grocery store. And it is a more expensive grocery store, but they do have a loyalty program. So if you put in your member number when you're checking out, you do get the cheaper prices. And I know why they do this, and it's to collect your data and sell it or track your purchases and end up increasing the price of something you buy on a weekly basis later. But it can be a tough decision. It's like, do I save money today and give away my data today by getting the membership price, which is sometimes a lot cheaper? Or do I just pay in cash today, not use the loyalty system, and then thus not be sharing my data so that they can increase the price and price gouge me later? Let me know in the comments down below which one you pick. And here's another frustrating thing we are seeing at grocery stores, convenience stores, pharmacies, just everything being locked behind a glass. Here is just a bunch of candy being locked behind a glass. I don't really understand why. I guess candy is stolen often here at this location, but it is so annoying to deal with. And I'm starting to see this more and more at multiple places around me, and it just discourages me from shopping there.
Let me show you one of the most locked up Walmarts in the entire country. It is insane, all the stuff that is locked up and all the items that they have chose to lock up. We have to call for help if we want one of these items, and a worker comes and unlocks the item for us, and sometimes they put it in a plastic case or they let you have it, but it's really annoying because you have to wait a long time for them to come and unlock the case.
Someone commented, "Thanks for opening that for me." You're welcome. Have a great... Oh no, you can't leave. I still have shopping to do. You're coming with me. This is just going to push more and more people to shop online or do the grocery pickup thing because people like convenience, and this is super inconvenient, especially if you have to wait 5 or 10 minutes for a worker to come and open the glass case for you.
Locked up shelves at retail stores have not exactly been good for business.
I think Walgreens and CVS in particular, if you look at their financial results over the past few years, it's not been great. They are two companies in a situation where they really do need to figure out how to gain back some customer loyalty and encourage more foot traffic into their stores.
The first domino to fall was Walgreens CEO Tim Wentworth's admission on an earnings call that this policy had hurt sales, that locking things up made them harder to buy. A few weeks after that Walgreens earnings call came news from CVS.
CVS announced that it was expanding a pilot program that it had been running quietly in a couple of New York City stores. What it does is allow people with the CVS Health app on their phones to unlock certain cabinets themselves.
What do you think the future of shopping might look like at places where these lockups have been so central?
Stores in that arena are probably going to feel more and more like vending machines. I went to a retail conference recently where there was a lot of exhibitors with third-party vendors that sell technology solutions for automating more things within stores that make it possible for a customer to unlock something themselves, that makes it easier to track customers in stores and identify people, that do all of this stuff that seems to be bent toward automating a lot of these things or putting more things on the customer's plate to do themselves.
If it's in a locked case, I just go somewhere else. If I need to use my cell phone to unlock a case so I can buy deodorant in a store, I might as well just buy it online. Did they forget that they're in the business of convenience stores? Locking things up made them harder to buy. App or no app, if it's locked up, I'm not buying from that retailer in person or online. I'll find it somewhere else where I don't feel like a criminal for wanting face wash. And obviously, I understand why companies do this. It's to protect against theft. But if they make it so inconvenient for the average person to shop at their store, people are just going to go elsewhere. I received a comment the other day and someone was like, all of your videos are so depressing. Can you please put some humor in them? And I'm not a naturally funny person. I'm not. But I did want to inject a little bit of positivity into this video and highlight the Arizona iced tea company. Their iced teas have been 99 cents a can or a bottle for decades, and they don't plan to increase prices for the foreseeable future.
Why not increase the price and therefore increase the profit?
We're successful. We're debt-free. We own everything. Why? Why have people who are having a hard time paying their rent have to pay more for our drink? Maybe it's my little way to give back.
Would you definitively say that you'll never raise that 99 cent price?
Never. Not in the foreseeable future. Yeah. You know, we're going to fight as hard as we can for consumers.
Arizona Beverages makes about 4 million cans here every day. And on each can of iced tea, you'll see this.
We've essentially had the same price for 33 years.
If the company adjusted its pricing for inflation since 1992, a can of Arizona would cost $2.30 today. But for one of its founders, that's not an option.
The last thing they should do is raise price. That's the last thing you should do in business because it means you failed. When somebody lays their hard-earned dollar on the table and gets a can of tea or juice and they say, wow, that's a good deal, I've now secured that customer.
Many beverage brands are publicly traded under massive corporations like Pure Leaf under Pepsi and Gold Peak Tea under Coca-Cola. Being privately owned has allowed Arizona to make all major decisions, like pricing.
We can afford to hold the line. We didn't have some bank or some board of director or some stockholder saying, what are you doing?
Take Snapple. Its 16-ounce bottle of tea cost 99 cents in 1992. The company went public later that year, and since then, it's changed hands multiple times, being acquired by corporations like Quaker Oat, Triarch, and Cadbury Schweppes. Today, a 16-ounce bottle of tea costs around $2. We can't know for sure if going public caused the price increases, but most of Snapple's competitors sell their tea at similar prices.
This is a good CEO. I've noticed Arizona prices all along and thought to myself, if they can do this, why can't others? You, sir, have a wonderful company and morals. I'll be buying an Arizona tea today. And that's the beauty of family-owned businesses that are privately held and not bought out by private equity or that are publicly traded, because these giant corporations have to appease their shareholders and they constantly want increasing profits. Not saying this CEO or this company is perfect by any means, but we need to vote with our dollar and support these companies that care more about us than these giant corporations do. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, please like, subscribe, and comment down below a dog emoji so I know you watched the whole thing. And if you don't want to wait for my next upload, you can go ahead and check out this video right here on the screen. But thank you guys again, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.